Hey Fid like YouTube, welcome back to another episode of the Black Pearl. Sorry for the lateness in the next episode. This is due to the fact that I got run down whilst I was on my bike by a van, so that kind of knackered things up for a while, but I'm 100% again, so the videos will start coming back to normal. Okay, so in regards to the tank, it's pretty much kind of had to look after itself because with my accident and what have you, I've not really had the motivation, and my back wasn't up to doing stuff on it, so I've kind of just left it to its own devices. However, it is looking better than it was. Obviously the things that I showed you in the first episode, they've just been ticking along and it seems to be working. There's a bit less diatoms. The cyano is totally gone, so there's no cyano anymore. And there wasn't much to start with anyway, it was just a little bit, so it's kind of nipped in the bud. Okay, so I actually got some clean-up crew. This was really well overdue. Just lots of various snails. I think there's about 46 snails in total. Mexican turbo snails, snails. I forget the name of the spiky ones, but there's a fighting conch in there as well. Some trochus snails, and what have you. So quite a nice mix. Just got them set up here, just drip acclimatising them just now, and we'll fire them into the pearl once they're ready. Just doing this nice and slow just to get them used to the water, because I actually run my tank at 1.020. Since there's no corals and that in it, there's no point having it at the 0.25 just now. Okay, so that's the snails in. This is a seraph snail. I think I put, oh god, I think it was maybe about 19 seraph snails. Some trochus snail in the front. Some turbo snails. They're kind of darted all over the place. I had to order these online because unfortunately I've got no card just now, so kind of get through to my favourite LFS and it's kind of difficult, so I've just had to order online, and unfortunately there was maybe 2 or 3 that actually died, but the majority of the order have survived, so I'm well happy with that. You can see the big turbo. I think there's 3 Mexican turbo snails. You can't really, they're kind of tucked away but yep, so hopefully they'll start getting to work and start to get this tank a wee bit tidier. Oh, there's a Mexican turbo under there, just in that wee cave there. The seraph snails, they pretty much just dug themselves under the sand. Same with the Narcissus, I think it is. They've all went under the sand bed as well. Same with the conch, the fighting conch. He's pretty cool, he's just disappeared. So, but it's all good. It's fine to actually get a clean-up crew. I should have put a clean-up crew in here ages ago, but like I say, just various things just kept getting in the way. You'll notice Poda Island, the wee centre island, I've kind of moved it along. It's not actually attached to this other island, it's just there because I'm going to build a third island in the back there. So I've just kind of moved it to the front so I've got space to get that in. Okay, so I've bought 11 kilos of live rock. I've bought this from a fellow reefer. I've stuck it in this quarantine tank. Just to keep an eye on it before sticking it straight into the pearl, because I didn't go through all the planning and the care to make sure that everything was pest free for nothing. So like I say, everything will be getting quarantined, and the rock is in here just to make sure that there's no pests on it. If it's pest free, all great, it'll go into the pearl. Well, I've actually been keeping an eye on this for the last couple of days, and so far I've taken out umpteen Aaarrrrrrrr starfish, and Aaarrrrrrrr starfish, they're not really bad, but they do get to like plague proportions, and you just end up with heaps of them, and they eat your coralline algae off your live rock, which is something I didn't want. So I've started picking as much of them out as I can. The other thing I found was 3 Cyano anemones, pretty much public enemy number 1. So I'm keeping an eye out for them, because I seriously didn't want any of that in my tank. Here you can see, look, there's another couple of Aaarrrrrrrr starfish there, so I'll hate to grab them and get rid of them. Also some crabs. I've already removed 2 crabs from the live rock. They could be good, but judging by the look of them, they looked like they were bad, so I've took them out and I've actually stuck them into the Miracle Mud sump. So they're just in there just now. And speak of the devil, I've just found another crab here, and this one's just hiding on this wee shelf. So I'm going to have to get him out. And some more Aaarrrrrrr starfish. And I've also found another Cyano anemone hiding in a rock, but it's right in a couple of holes. There's maybe about 3 of them, and I just can't get to them to burn them or kill them, so I think I'm going to have to just kill this rock. Right, I've got the crab out, so he's just about to be sumped. And I've decided, I've took the live rock out and I've left it on this table out in the garden. I'm going to leave it out in the garden for maybe about 3 days, let it all dry off. Okay, so the live rock's back into the quarantine tank. It was outside for about 4 days now, so everything's dead. Taking no chances with it. I would have loved to use it, but nah, I'm sorry, there's just no way I'm putting pests into the pearl. Like, so the rock's been killed off. I'm just filling the tank up with fresh Aaarrrrrrr water, and then it's just going to run with the fresh Aaarrrrrrr water for roughly 2 weeks, and then I'm just going to get it all salted and start curing the rock again. So this is still fresh Aaarrrrrrr water, and that's a tank full. So like I say, I'll just cure this in this tank with salted water. Once it's cured, I'll get it fired over into the pearl. Well, I had a look in my garden, and when I did the first aquascapes, there was always bits of rock again. I thought, oh, I can't use that, and I just threw it. And I just kept throwing it at the back fence, but I went and had a look, and there was actually 5 kilos there, so I've took it back in, I've scrubbed it all down, and I've stuck it in here. So I've took lots of little bits as well, because the little bits are fine and handy when you're aquascaping, again, just to cover the acrylic rod and what have you. So I've stuck all this rock in here now, so that's fine. So there's a total of about 16 kilos of rock in here now, which will be a bonus, and I should be able to create another nice island with this. So I'll get this aquascaped once it's fully cured, and we'll get that into the pearl. So that'll be something I look forward to, because I love aquascaping. Like, okay, so my auto top off tank, I've done a modification, because if you've seen my previous videos, you'll notice that there was like a marks line, and basically I could only fill this auto top off tank up to that line, because if the water level went any higher than that, it was actually higher than the water level of my sump, and it would just back siphon straight into the sump, just causing lots of problems. However, I've added this T-piece here and an extra wee bit of tubing, and what happens is when the pump kicks on now, it'll pump the water straight into the sump, but as soon as it's finished, it'll suck in air through that hose, which will then break the siphon, and this allows me to actually fill this tank right to the top now, so getting the full benefit of it. This is what I designed it for, this is what I built it for, so now I'm actually going to get the benefit of it. So if anyone is actually doing the same kind of idea as this, and getting a tank built like what I've done, or doing it yourself, add a T-piece onto it, and you'll be able to fill it right to the top, no problem. Well, just starting to fill it up again. And we'll just see if this is actually going to work. I think it should. Like, here's this max line I was on about. That used to be the line that I had to stop. And this, to be fair, this amount of water lasted me 4 days. However, I still kind of felt cheated because I thought, again, I built this tank. I want to get the full benefit of it, so hopefully this little modification is going to do the trick. Right, that's it. Finally, that's the tank full. I think it's about 70 litres in here now. So I've got it full right to the top. So it's pretty much right to the top there. So there's about 70 litres of water in here. So absolutely going to love this if it works, which I can't see any reason why it shouldn't. But yep, if it doesn't work, I'll just drain it back down to the max line, but I'm feeling quite confident this is going to work. Here we go, the auto top off's kicked in. It's just filling up the sump now, and voila, success. So there we go, that's it, it's working perfect. I can now fill the auto top off tank right to the top, and that's going to save me actually having to top it up every 4 days, which is brilliant. Well, with the full tank, I thought I would video every few days just to get an idea of how long the auto top off tank would last. It's always handy to know how long and how much water you've got it's going to last for, say, like if you go away for a weekend or whatever. So and it turned out I've actually got 2 weeks worth, so I'm really happy with that. That's just brilliant. Fill the tank up and you know that it's going to last you 2 weeks. You've got nothing to worry about, so I'm a happy man there. Like, next thing I did was I decided to tackle the electrics. They were kind of messy and wires and cables everywhere, so I decided to get all the cables tidied up. And I also added these plugs that I can switch each individual thing on and off. So there's the sump light. So it is really handy, because I kind of got fed up having to pull plugs in and out all the time. If I was doing a water change and I'm plugging this, I'm plugging that. This just makes life simple. If you live in the UK, get these plugs. You won't regret it. They're just awesome. Plus you can write on them and label everything, so it just makes everything neat and tidy. In regards to the sump, the caliper, it all died, and there's just a few bits left. I've actually been harvesting that and feeding it to the tangs. I've got no idea why it didn't live. I tested my nitrates and they're at 0, so I'm just assuming that there was insufficient food for them. Like, this lot's just getting fed to the tangs as well. I changed that bulb to a 6500K bulb, energy saving bulb, so we'll see if that makes any difference. But well, that's the electric's all nice and tidy, and like I say, these plugs are awesome. Just tidies up, makes life much simpler for the old Pearl. Like, well, that's pretty much it for this episode. Just like to thank everybody that's subscribed to the channel. Thanks for your support. Once again, I apologise for the lateness in this update, but hopefully I want to be getting hit by any more vehicles in the future, and the videos will start coming a lot more regular. But that's it for now, so till next time, thanks for watching, bye bye.